Hi, it's Lori from Coast to Coast Craft Girls, coming to you from the West Coast. I've got a really cool Christmas card that I made to share with you today. It's a Snowglobe Easel card. So as an easel, it looks like that. Really cool shaker element for your snow globe. And from the side, it looks like that. You can fold it down just like a normal easel card. It's not completely flat because it's got some dimension in there because of the shaker, but really cool, you know, shaker element. And it looks nice flat as well, but boy, when you stand it up for that easel, I just think that's amazing. So let me bring it up close to you so you can see. I'm trying not to get my face in the front of it. So let me show you how it's made. We're going to start with our snow globe, and to make our snow globe, I got two circles, and these are my stitched edge circle nesting dies, and the largest one is 4.5 inches, and then it's 2 down, so that gives you about a 1/4 inch of frame. And I cut that actually 4 times, twice in a Centura Pearl white with a touch of silver, and twice just in a white cardstock. And I layered them up so that it's a little bit stronger. And then I cut with I actually use a circle cutter to cut acetate as opposed to my dies because I find it works better. And I cut a 4-inch circle of acetate, and then I glued that onto the back of my doubled frame, and then I put a row of foam tape on both of them. And I thought about it and I was like, why did I put it on both of them? But I did want it kind of doubled up so it's a little bit thicker. So that's going to go together to make the top of my snow globe. Now to make the base of my snow globe, I have a snow globe die, but it's small, and this one I wanted it to be bigger because I want my sleigh and my reindeer to go across the bottom, and the one that I had was so small that it looked silly with the sleigh and the reindeer, so I decided to make my own. So for the base, I just cut, essentially, this is 4 by 2, and I measured up 1 inch on each side, on the 2-inch side, and then I measured in 1/2 inch on the top, and then I took my smaller nesting die and I just set it so that the edge of the die was on each of those marks, and drew kind of a little arc, and then I put it here, so there's my mark and there's my mark, and I put it there like that, and then I drew on the inside of that, and I'm just going to cut those arcs. And that's going to be the base of my snow globe. And the reason I cut the top arc, for my card, it doesn't matter so much, but if you were going to create kind of a standalone snow globe, then you'd want this arc cut out of the top. So I thought I'd show you how to do it. And I'll show you what I mean by a standalone snow globe. Okay, so there we go. And then I just traced that onto a piece of Centura Pearl and cut it as well, so that I've got a double strength, just to give it a little more, sturdiness. Now, this is going to go on here, and I'm actually going to put the circle of the snow globe like this, so that right on the edge like that, so that you can't see the base through. So that's why I used the die to cut that, so it's going to go like that, because otherwise if you just left it flat, it would look like this, and you'd have that across the bottom of your snow globe. Now if you're going to put a scene in there, it probably wouldn't matter, but I'm not going to, so I didn't want to be able to see that. And since I'm going to put it on a card, it's probably not going to matter, because you're going to be able to you're kind of going to be able to see it anyway through the card on the card base. But if you wanted to make it standalone so it would stand up, what I would do, so you put one on one side, one on the other side, with some foam tape between them. And I would probably put a couple more layers on here, so you probably had like 4 layers, and you put one here. I can't hang on to it all, but it's not going to be perfect. But if it's one like that, and then you put some foam tape between these, it would probably stand up. So these are my 2 pieces. I'm going to go ahead and glue those together, and that just gives it a little bit more sturdiness. It probably doesn't make any difference because I'm going to put it on a card base anyway. So, but it's always good to double up your card if you want something sturdy. Now I've got a 4x6. This is a 4x6 card, and I'm going to make an easel. So I scored halfway on one side. So this is 2 inches, and this is 2 inches. And so what I did is I set this on here and I just drew around that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up this way and then cut that part away. And I'll show you what I mean. So we're going to cut up like this. And it doesn't have to be perfect because it's not going to show, but I want it so that when I put my base of my snow globe on there, it is not going to show. Okay. So there's that piece. So now when I put my snow globe base on there and do my easel, it's not going to show on the sides, which is what I want. But I do have that piece showing, which I'm not thrilled with. So tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to open this up and I'm going to use my craft knife to come in here and cut. So that looks pretty messy, but this is going to cover it up anyway. And then my snow globe's going to go on top of there. So, but then when I stand it up and my snow globe goes on, you're going to get at least a little bit of a see-through. Do anything else? I'm going to go ahead and I've got some paper to mat and layer here, and I think I'll just leave that one white. I don't know. I'll put my snow globe together and then decide. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my base on there. And then, because my snow globe's going to go, my circles are going to go on the outside of that. Okay, now let me put my snow globe together. And then before I put those together, I've got a snowflake, and this is just I think it's a Sizzix die, but I just cut it out of mirror card, and I cut it twice and glued them back to back. And then I've got a little punch, a little snowflake punch, and I cut a bunch of these little snowflakes just out of a double-sided silver. It's paper. It's fairly lightweight, and I'm just gonna put these in there. Try not to bend them up. And I don't know how many of them there are. There's just a bunch. And then lastly, I've got some just clear sequins that I'm going to put in there as well. And then I'm going to stack these one on top of the other, and forgive me for getting my head right in the way, but I gotta get them exactly on top of each other. Okay, and there's my shaker element. So I've got my paper snowflakes, my one big snowflake, and some sequins. Okay, so that is my shaker element. That's going to go right onto the front of my card. So for that, I'm going to use a little bit of double-sided tape, and I'm going to use some wet glue. And it's going to stick up above the top of that card, and that's okay. But then when it stands up, see, it's going to stand up and look very pretty. But I think I am going to mat that because it looks a little plain, but I'll do it later. Then on the front, I cut a deer, and this is from the Crafter's Companion Reindeer Collection. It's Dashing Deer. And I cut him 3 times, and I cut it in some double-sided gray and then in the silver. And he's going to go on here like that. And then I cut the sleigh, and this is a Spellbinder's die. It's Delivering Joy, the sleigh. And I didn't cut any of the presents, I just cut the sleigh. And again, I cut that multiple times, once out of the double-sided gray, and then the back one is a mirror card, it's a smear card, and then there's, you know. And so we're going to put the sleigh right on there, and then my deer on here. So they're going to go together. Then for a stopper, I've got this is a Crafter's Companion Sentiment, and I cut the back out of that silver mirror, and then I cut the words out of this same paper, and I'm just going to put that on the inside. And then I think I am going to put maybe some glitter card or something on that back piece. I don't want to put the blue, I don't think, but give it a shot and see what I think. Sometimes the best thing to do is to just kind of, you know, test out a couple of different things and see what you like. So my easel card's going to come up. I'm going to put my sentiment right there for my stopper. Love that. Now I think I might put a couple little snowflakes. I've got some here from a different project. I think I might just put some randomly around. Just adds to the overall effect. Now let me see what I like. So that paper came from the Sparkling Winter collection from Crafter's Companion. So I've got a bunch of little scraps. So let's just take a small scrap and see. And I'll show you what I mean by just try it out. So we're going to put, if that's cards there, look like that when it's closed. Oh, that's actually not bad. Okay, so the other thing that I was considering was some silver glitter card. So there's that. Or I found a scrap of this glitter card that's got, oh, I kind of like that. Okay. Or there's a plain glitter card. That stuff out of the way. I think I like the one with the writing on it better. Or I got mirror card. I think I like the one with the writing. Yeah, I do like that. I think we'll do that. Okay, so let me cut that. So that's 6 by 2. Okay, and there we go. Yeah, I do like that. Much better than the white. And we're all done. And there's my shaker easel card. Looks like that when it's standing up, which I think is just gorgeous. Could have done with a few more sequins, I think, but not bad. But really pretty. And it does fold relatively flat. I mean, you could get that in an envelope, sort of, but it's not too big. So overall card size is 6, so it's 6 by 5 3/4. You could make it a little bit shorter if you wanted to by kind of lowering the circle down a little bit more. And honestly, I didn't even need to cut that part out because with the shaker bits at the bottom like that, I mean, if you put it up like that, you can see, but with the shaker bits you don't even need to do that. So you could have just cut the angle and not even done the little notch out. So what I mean is you could have cut this angle and not just left that straight across, and I don't think it would have really even showed, both on the stand part and on the card itself. So really cute. Thanks for watching.